Hi, welcome to another gracious tip. I absolutely love Sacred Frankincense essential oil, which is why this segment is so special to me. I'm in Salalah, Oman, the only place in the world where sacred frankincense trees grow. I guess you can say I'm more than just a little bit excited. So what makes sacred frankincense, also known as Boswellia sacra, so special? The tree can live up to 10 months without water. In fact, that is a great thing because only the best resins come from trees that are only watered once a year during the monsoon season. Throughout history, the Boswellia sacra has remained the most highly prized form of frankincense. It is a holy oil used in the Middle East for thousands of years. There are over 52 references of frankincense in the Bible, and it was one of the main ingredients used in the holy incense. It was also one of the gifts given to Christ at his birth. So how do we extract the resin from the tree? The bark of the tree is shaved down 3 layers until you get to the red matter. This is where we see the luban, which means milky white, oozing out of the bark. After about 3 days, the resin will be hard enough to be picked off the bark. 10 days after the initial cut, the wound is reopened again, which is also called the second cut. This is where you can get 30 to 40% more luban. The third cut, which is typically done 45 days after the first cut, would yield 90% more luban than the first cut. This is when the resin will crystallize to the size of a golf ball. On average, a tree can have up to 300 cuts per harvest. But don't worry, the tree will recover, and after 2 to 3 years, the tree can be recut in the same location. Let's take a moment to talk about the impact that frankincense had in this region and beyond. In ancient times, the frankincense trail was considered to be the most important commercial route throughout southern Arabia, as frankincense is believed to be the first product commercially traded worldwide. It was a key part of the Middle East economy 2,500 years ago. And it allowed many cities and ports along the frankincense trail to enjoy great prosperity and wealth. In 3000 BC, frankincense was more valuable than gold. Its sweet-smelling aromatic smoke and precious oil was used and treasured by pharaohs and Caesars. Their insatiable demand for frankincense created a trade route from the southern coast of Oman to the Holy Lands. Traditionally, frankincense was transported by camel caravan. Just to give you an idea of how massive this operation was, a typical camel caravan can consist of up to 1,000 camels and 500 people involved. So you can imagine the sight of this camel caravan moving its precious cargo across the deserts. It would have been spectacular. These camel caravans typically travel north through the dangerous desert, carrying tons of frankincense and other goods for trading. After making these epic journeys that could potentially last for months, they would eventually arrive at cities and ports, enabling them to trade frankincense worldwide. Welcome to the Young Living Sacred Frankincense Distillery in Oman. At this stage, we have a big pile of Boswellia sacra resin, but we're only halfway there. This resin has to now undergo a process to become the essential oil we know and love. So let's talk about dedication to a dream. Gary Young invested 15 years of his life traveling back and forth to Oman in search for the perfect like-minded partners to achieve his dream of starting a sacred frankincense distillery. Gary knew the power of Boswellia sacra and rediscovered through passion and perseverance the ancient arts of distilling this powerful resin. This passion enabled Young Living to be the first foreign-owned company in hundreds of years to undertake this modern-day distillation process. So let's take a closer look at this process with a little bit of help and science from Safe Lecky. It all starts with a 400-liter stainless steel chamber. To this, we add about 80 liters of water and 50 kilograms of Boswellia sacra resin. This is where the distillation process may seem a little different from the usual.
Hydrodistillation is ideal for the non-tissue part of the plant, while steam distillation, on the other hand, is preferred for like a cellular plant tissue, cellular part of the plant. So what we concern more about how to be wise and careful in dealing with the natural product to avoid any denaturation and decomposition of the molecule.
Resins aren't steam distilled. Instead, they undergo a process called hydrodistillation. Now we have resin and water in the same chamber, ready to hydrodistill. Next, the water needs to be heated slowly to a temperature of about 95 to 100 degrees Celsius. These are the magic ingredients. Resin, water, and heat, when combined perfectly, creates vapor in the chamber. From here, the vapor will pass through a cooling tube in the condenser, allowing the vapor to cool rapidly, becoming the essential oil and hydrosol. The next stage of the process is probably the most exciting for me. This is when we get to separate the oil and hydrosol. Once this is achieved, we finally have the pure sacred frankincense essential oil that we know.
Boswellia sacra is genetically the grandfather of all Boswellia species. It affects positively the immune system, and it enhances and improves the gastrointestinal function.
Let's do the numbers so you get to understand the potency of this beautiful oil. We have added 50 kilograms of raw Boswellia sacra resin. At the end of this 8 to 12 hour process, we are only able to yield just under 3 kilograms of essential oil. And of course from here, the Sacred Frankincense essential oil gets transported to Young Living, where it undergoes rigorous testing before being bottled for you. This is a slow and deliberate process, and we have to be very patient to ensure the integrity of the product is maintained. This is why every single drop of Sacred Frankincense essential oil is so very precious. So now we have a better understanding of how Young Living extracts this precious oil. I'd like to take a moment to explore what ancient civilizations used frankincense for, as this resin has a long and illustrious history. Now, what I'm about to tell you could be legend, myth, or just great stories. But the reoccurring nature of this product throughout history kind of makes me believe that it was an essential part of beauty, health, and medicine throughout time. Let's begin with beauty. Think makeup was a modern-day invention? Think again. The Egyptian women used frankincense to make their famous heavy black coal eyeliner. They would char it first, then ground it into a powder that they would apply to their eyelids. The Egyptians were really keen on frankincense. As history has it, they bought boatloads of frankincense and used it for a variety of different things, including embalming. The frankincense business was so profitable that Alexander the Great apparently had plans to invade Arabia so that he could control the roads to profit from attacks on travelers. Nero, a ruler of the Roman Empire, loved frankincense and burned it at an alarming rate. The frankincense was brought to Rome by camels, and the amount that he requested eventually required over 3,000 camels to make the journey there. Arabic doctors made sure that their clothes were heavily scented with frankincense before visiting patients. While they may not have known the scientific reasoning behind it, it was strongly noted that the individuals who worked closely with essential oils were free from disease. Whether you believe these historical stories or not, it really doesn't matter. The point is, this oil has the ability to change lives. This ability has been well documented for thousands of years, and modern science is beginning to confirm this. So this was the short story of this amazing oil, Sacred Frankincense. Its beautiful life-giving history, transformational properties, and the positive nature that surrounds it can really be seen and felt here. Sacred frankincense can be used topically, inhaled, or even added to your diffusers. You can also combine it with your skincare products and even ingest it to support your immune system. And all this is just the tip of the iceberg. The Boswellia sacra, which again is sacred frankincense, has been found to carry very high, if not the highest levels of sesquiterpenes, highest boswellic acids, highest DNA repair capacity in the world. The amazing array of health benefits that sacred frankincense can deliver are simply profound. I would encourage you to do your own research. No doubt you'll come across some remarkable stories of healing. I hope you've enjoyed the Sacred Frankincense journey with me. Until next time, enjoy your gracious life.